my name's James Nicholson. There's some interesting news today, and it's not good news if I'm totally honest, and that's now the talk that the base rate might go to 7%. Now, we're going to talk about that and what that means for us as investors, homeowners, and renters alike, because it's not good news, and that's for sure. So before we jump into this video, make sure if you haven't done already, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification. I've got new content every single day on the property market. We're getting 60,000 people watch this channel every single month now, so I appreciate every single one of you that does that. Do also like the video, guys. I'll wait while you do that. Smash the like button over there, guys. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm. We're trying to get more views on the channel. We're trying to grow, and that would really, really help us if you could do that. So the base rate, the Bank of England base rate, currently stands at 5%. And a year ago, it was unimaginable that we would hit that kind of level. Now, the reason this has happened is because inflation is really out of control in the UK. The American inflation is going to be around 3% very, very soon, and the Eurozone is at around 4%. UK inflation, I think, stuck or went up slightly, and we're at 8.7% in the UK, which is absolutely crazy. Now, we get hit hard because we import a lot of energy costs, but it isn't just down to that as well. We printed a ton of money by quantitative easing during the pandemic. We had things like bounce back loans and furlough schemes, and they were good schemes, don't get me wrong. I actually know tons of good business owners that would not have survived if it wasn't for those bounce back loans. So they were essential to keep people trading. Now, the problem is we then have got this crazy inflation, and I remember it first being talked about a couple of years ago when I was doing refurbishments, and it was building materials were one of the first things that got hit really hard. I remember you couldn't get plaster, you couldn't get timber, and so the prices on that stuff just went up and up and up. And people were selling bags of plaster on eBay that were a fiver for 50 quid. And it was crazy in that period of time. Now, inflation has been around 10% for about a year in the UK now, and we're just not really dealing with it. So normally what you would do is you would raise the interest rates higher than the inflation, and that would push it down. It would push you into a recession. But the problem we had was that we were at 0.1% interest rate. So to go from 0.1% to 10% wouldn't work. If you were a buy-to-let landlord, your interest, your mortgage payment would have gone up more than 10 times if you got a really good rate. So you had a 1% rate and now you've got a 10% rate, you're going to pay 10 times. Wouldn't work. So they have to gradually raise that. Now, another problem is that the inflation is supply side. So you and me, we can't control it. Normally with inflation, the goal is that we stop spending, right? The goal is that you raise the interest rates, it takes money out of the economy, making your mortgage payments higher, making your credit card bill higher. So then you stop spending, right? That's what they want to happen. They want you guys to stop spending. The problem that we've got here is that the stuff that's really going up in cost is the energy and food. You're not going to not eat. You're not going to not heat your house and your property. And so this is the problem that they've got here. It's a fine balancing act. And UK inflation is, like the Conservatives said, we'll get it down to 5% by Christmas. And people believe that initially. Now, it's not looking so likely. And this is why the Bank of England is raising rates. Now, today, when I'm recording this, which is on Friday, the 7th of July, the stock markets are starting to drop significantly because they feel interest rates are going to keep rising. And their belief is that we're going to hit a 7% base rate. Now, the economists that we've read about in the Financial Times and the Evening Standard and all these sorts of places, they're saying that a 7% interest rate would 100% crash the property market. Still, the belief is that at 6%, we could possibly, it's still going to go down for sure, but we could possibly get through with a 10% sort of drop. But at 7%, pretty much everyone is saying That's it. If we get to 7% interest rate, it is going to be absolute blood on the streets. It is going to be absolutely brutal. Repossessions are going to go through the roof. Even with the fact you can move on to interest only, it's going to be unaffordable for a ton of people and a very, very difficult time in the market. So that's where things are moving towards. So what can you do about it? Because you want to make sure your assets are protected. We've covered this in some videos recently, but if you've got a deal that is expiring in the future, you can actually renew that deal early. The banks have agreed with the government that you can agree a deal now. And so my partner did this. We logged into her NatWest portal for her mortgage, and it showed her deal expires in December 2023. She was able to do that deal in June 2023. So she's already got a deal agreed at 4.9% interest. She did it for 5 years because she likes certainty, and that's now dealt with. A lot of people watching the channel didn't know about that, and I had at least 15, 20 comments of people that said, you know what, I did it, thank you. That really is something that helped me. So let people know about that scenario. Another thing you can do if you're stuck in a really long deal for 5 years or something like that, maybe move on to interest only. Save that extra payment that you aren't paying. So maybe your payment goes down from £1,000 a month down to 600. Save that 400 quid, build a little kitty up and protect yourself. Another thing you can do is move the mortgage and change the length of that. So maybe you've got 10 years on your mortgage. Just for now, I'm not saying do this forever, just for now, maybe extend it back up to 25 years. That will reduce the monthly payments. So there's lots of different things that you can do to protect yourself. Don't get stuck on a 7%, which would be an 8 or 9% interest rate that you would get as a mortgage. Don't allow that to happen. Take some action now before this gets really, really difficult for you guys. But where do you think this is going to end up? It's really interesting to see your thoughts and observations on this. Do you think we will actually get to 7%? I remember when Liz Truss was in charge and they thought it was going to go to 6.5%, and everybody thought that was crazy. The pound crashed. Everything was carnage for a few weeks. Mortgage deals got pulled off the market. But where do you think we're going to end up? What do you think will happen? Do you think we're going to get a 7% interest rate? Or do you think things will eventually calm down? Inflation will get more under control and things will get more level-headed by the end of this year? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. Keep it kind. Do keep it kind on all of this. Remember, this isn't me saying it's going to 7%. This is what the market's saying. Stock markets are pricing in this kind of number now. They're going for at least 6.5% to 7%. And that's why the market's dropping on Friday, the 7th of July. Love to know your thoughts and comments. Do that below. Do check out all the other videos on my channel. Like the video before you go. And when you've liked the video, go and check out this video right here.